Welcome, everyone, to the third round of the ABN Hyper Formula Championship. Welcome to Fuji International Speedway at the base of Mount Fuji in the town of Oyama here in Japan. We have two races coming up here very soon. I'm Carmen, Sienna. Thank you all for joining us for an amazing Thursday night for racing as we race here in Japan once more. Oyama last week weren't able to broadcast it due to unforeseen circumstances, but we are back here to continue the championship. Drivers have two races coming up here, a feature race that is 27 laps and a sprint race that is 14 laps here tonight. As you can tell by this track map, 2.8 miles a lap length around the Fuji Speedway using the Grand Prix configuration with that chicane in the final sector. Very high altitude, almost 2,000 feet above sea level, 80 degrees. The track temp, air temp, is only 66 degrees though. 64% humidity, a very moist and sticky track here this afternoon. Cloudy skies and very little wind complement the humid weather here in Japan. Points as they currently run entering this race. Bruno Miranda has the championship lead over Christina Ryan. Christina Ryan sitting in the second position, I should say, in the championship running order. Josh Gaiman sitting third. Joel Wolf fourth. Then it's Caitlin Height, Tucker Sawyer, Bruce Silva, Aspen Martin, Lily Pelletier Sharp, and Kirk Lane in the top 10 in the point standings after the first two rounds of action. So racing to be had as drivers try to catch up to the Hunko Sandra Esports driver at the top of the standings. Time as it runs, practice almost over here in Japan, in Fuji. Bruno Miranda leads the way at 121.357 for the Brazilian driver. Josh Gaiman second fastest. Driver on your screen, Christina Ryan, third fastest. Debuting driver here tonight, Corey Vervinkt in the 23 car, sitting 8th fastest right now. Very tricky track this Fuji Speedway is, as we keep an eye on Christina Ryan. Stepping Stone Motorsports driver currently sitting in the third position time-wise, trying to find an extra second here in the dying minutes of practice here tonight. Giving indications to where everyone is practice time wise. We got 1 minute left, so this is effectively the final laps for some of these drivers here. Christina Ryan's one of them. Kirk Lane down the straightaway will try to complete this lap as well. Sitting 9th fastest. Does he improve? Down the long start finish straight. He does not. Arna Adams not even halfway on a lap, so she will not be able to complete this lap right now for Prismatic Motorsports. And another driver here, Caitlin Height for Queen's Design, rolling around the circuit at the moment in 7th place. As time elapses here in Japan, it's time to get ready for qualifying here. Everyone's got 10 minutes of qualifying to get their laps in. Everyone's got 4 laps to run. So everyone's got plenty of time to get qualifying laps sorted. One of the first drivers out on track is Christina Ryan. Keep an eye on the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver. Stepping Stone Motorsports trying to chase down Bruno Miranda. Again, Christina's got 4 laps to try to do so. So let's see what the 2022 ABN Open World Champion can do. And the start of a very busy weekend lies ahead of us here on ABN. Across ABN Esports 1 and ABN Esports 2. Tonight, it is the ABN Hyper Formula Championship. On Saturday, playoffs begin for the ARC's Saturday Night Showdown Series. Sunday is the last race in the round of 8 for the ARC's A-Square Cup Series. Monday is the HTO Cup Series from Talladega. And Tuesday, the HTO Truck Series in ABN 2 from Holston, Miami. A lot of work to do here this weekend. You all are welcome to join us for all of those races coming up here this weekend. First lap underway for just about everybody but Bryce Sosier, who will start this race from the back of the field. Miranda, Crivelli, Lane, Pressy, Vervink, Martin, Ryan, Gaiman, Height, Silva, Adams, and Sawyer all on track right now. All but Kirk, Lane, and Tucker Sawyer are actively on their first laps. Again, everyone's got 4. No push to pass enabled here. So it's pure pace that'll determine the grid for the feature race coming up. Christina Ryan on her first lap here. So we're going to get another person joining in. That'll be Cade McKee joining in during qualifying here. Going to give it a shot. Christina Ryan out of the final corner for the first time. We'll pull up the track map so you can see where she is at right now on track. That is the relative, not the track map. Excuse me. There's the track map. Crivelli goes fastest, 1:23.06. Silva goes second fastest. Height goes second fastest now as times come in. Miranda expected to jump to the top spot here. Crosses the line. Where does the Brazilian points leader go? Top of the board, 1:22.163. Wild lap by Miranda. Does anyone have a response? That is phenomenal driving by Miranda on his first lap, but tires coming up the temperature for a lot of the drivers in this field. Does that gap close? And also, does Miranda get into the sub-22s? Does he get into the 121s? It'd be a very important question to ask. And also, you have to tiptoe and make sure you stay within the track boundaries here. Crossing out of bounds. Invalidate your lap time. Everyone that's been tuning in to the European Open Wheel competitions will know that boundary lines have been a huge talking point. They're pretty simple here. They're pretty self-penalizing here. Sawyer goes 8th fastest, 1:24.181. Christina Ryan looking to get into the 122s. Needs to gain half a second just to get into the 22s. And she does. 1:22.8. Puts her second place on the grid. Kaylin Height goes faster. 1:22.639. Silva does not improve. 1:23.432 for Brew Silva. Crivelli stays 4th. Gaiman trying to pressure, 1:23.078. Miranda improves even more, 1:21.583. Has cleared the field by a second. Kirk Lane 123.947, an improvement for him. As more drivers set times, Saucier out on track now. So more and more cars setting lap times here. Saucier is trying to be the 13th driver to join. There'll be 14 cars in total by the time everyone's said and done, with Cade McKee joining in. And Cade McKee will be most likely starting from the back of the field, having not joined the track yet. Over half of qualifying has concluded. Sawyer, fourth fastest, 123.045. Across the line, Christina Ryan goes. Does she improve? She does! 122.298. She closes the gap some. Silva goes third. Does Kaylin Height improve? She did not. So it's tight in this battle for the front row. Miranda's third lap, not faster. 121.6, almost a tenth off. Christina Ryan joining the third sector of the lap. Christina Ryan sitting third fastest right now. Josh Gaiman's jumped her in the standings. Very reminiscent of how the standings were in practice. In this precise order, Sawyer goes fourth fastest again, gets into the 122 fours. Fourth lap completed for Christina Ryan. Where does it put her? Does it get her anything? And it gets her close. 121.9 for Christina Ryan. Height and Silva. Silva improved, Height did not. Garnet Adams, 12th fastest, looking to find some pace here in Fuji for Prismatic Motorsports. Miranda improved by a tenth. 121.46. Christina Ryan got into the 121s. Her teammate Josh Gaiman did not. Kirk Lane, Garnet Adams, the last ones on track that need to set a lap time and trying to complete their last lap time here. Saucier's not set a lap yet. Adams will cross the line and not improve. She'll stay 12th fastest. But an amazing job for several drivers here, including Christina Ryan, who will start on the front row in tonight's race. Tucker Sawyer, one of the leading privateers, fourth fastest at the moment, does not have the pressure to worry about getting a faster lap time. Silva and Height already completed their runs. Next up is Bryce Saucier, who has yet to set a lap time for the Nick Pressey Motorsports squad. His teammate, team boss Nick Pressey, will qualify and start 8th place as things run. Saucier, on his first lap, has a minute to finish it. And Saucier will not make anything happen here. So Saucier will start on the back row of the grid. And then we'll go ahead and throw it off for good measure. And then tag the wall. We'll move back to pit lane, and that'll end qualifying essentially. As time elapses, Bruno Miranda will start on the feature race pole here tonight. Again, it is Bruno Miranda versus the world, the current ABN Open Wheel World Champion, trying to take another championship under his belt as well. Miranda working to try to become one of the winningest drivers in ABN history at the moment, and so far he is well on his way as we get ready to go. Here's a rundown on the grid. 14 cars tonight. Miranda and Ryan at the front of the field. Then it's Gaiman and Sawyer in row 2. Silva and Height, row 3. Row 4, Crivelli and Pressy. Kirk Lane and Aspen Martin make up row 5. Corey Vervinkt and Garnet Adams make up row number 6. Vervinkt making his first start in the season here tonight. And then looking down the final row of the grid, it's Cade McKee and Bryce Saucier. All the cars coming in, the lights turning on, indicating that their push to pass is ready to go here in Fuji. The first of 2 races coming up here tonight. So everyone grids up and gets ready. Crivelli, Pressy, and McKee, the ones we're waiting on right now. 27 laps, the length of the feature race. Here come the lights. Miranda and Ryan at the front of the field. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. We're racing in Fuji. Miranda with a great start. Christina Ryan with a poor start. 4 wide entering turn number 1. And Sawyer's going to try to make a squeeze for it. There's a car out wide, and I believe that is Gaiman. It is Josh Gaiman, and Saucier goes wide as well. Crivelli starts from pit lane. 4 into 1, doesn't often go, and it didn't go there. Josh Gaiman, the worst one out for it. Caitlin Height also in trouble. It looks like a huge amount of trouble there, and that's with Saucier. Saucier. And Caitlin Height going to try to limp back around. Crivelli trying to make it around as well. Cold tires for him. He was starting from pit lane. And you see the debris already on lap 1. It's Miranda, Sawyer, and Ryan at the front of the field as we look back at this initial start. And you see here Josh Gaiman gets tagged by Caitlin Height there. And Saucier just trying. I'm not sure what Saucier was doing, what Bryce Saucier in that 07 was doing. Because Saucier started at the back of the field. And he actually took it easy on the initial start, tried to let everyone clear turn 1. And then just kind of gunned it into Caitlin Height there. So that's unfortunate for both of them. Looking at Crivelli right now, who sits in 12th position. Caitlin Height still limping around on a wounded car. At this point, we'll most likely go a lap down, surely, but just trying to get around so she can use that fast repair. There's Bruno Miranda entering Sector 3. It's Miranda, then Sawyer. Then Christina Ryan in 3rd position. The front row starter dropped a spot on the initial go. Tucker Sawyer with an amazing start compared to Christina Ryan's very appalling start. So now Christina's got some work to do, but a little less pressure. 3rd place for Christina Ryan is secured by over 3.5 seconds to Garnet Adams, who's already up to 4th place. Now Adams has to play defense here tonight in Fuji. You see the train of cars. One of those cars, Bruce Silva, already on push to pass. The overlay breaks there for just a second. See if we can get it re-fired and pulled back up here. In the meantime, second here. Okay, let's pull it up. Right now we're looking at, again, this battle for 4th place. Garnet Adams is leading the way over Nick Pressey, Bruce Silva, Josh Gaiman, and Kirk Lane. All of them are in this group right now. And there we go, kept it all pulled up again. Bingo. Right now, rolling on track, Miranda with the fast lap of the race, and now you see the Serpentine down the long front straightaway, but Adams thought about that way too late, because Pressey to the outside lane, gonna try the over-under as Adams locks up. Huge battle going on right now for the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. Kirk Lane again keeping an eye and watching from afar in that 8th position right now. Silva pushing, as well as Josh Gaiman, who is trying to get back up to the podium places. He started in 3rd. Again, got pumped out of the way on the initial start when Caitlin Height locked up and went wide. And then got pinned even further back, trying to avoid the incident compounded by Saucier. Pulling at the battle box here. Adams, Pressey, Silva, and Gaiman. It's been a wild race so far. Contact! Gaiman, Silva, and Pressey all involved. Did Kirk Lane get through that? He had to go wide. Aspen Martin goes wide. Vervink goes through the middle. As no, Kirk Lane spun around. Trouble here as Kirk Lane goes spun around in the last corner. Multiple cars involved there. Silva had to tow. That was a very interesting turn of events there between Gaiman, Kirk Lane, and Bruce Silva, and Nick Pressey. And that gives Garnet Adams all of the leeway in the world over, I believe, a 1.5 seconds of gap between Adams and Pressey now. Yeah, Pressey got through that because Pressey was in front of it. But we're going to go back and look at that because that was a wild incident here. Josh Gaiman at the very tail end of this trying to make it through. I see Silva just ahead of this. And it looks like Pressey got off the throttle a little bit because he got a little bit of wheel spin, and Silva was not expecting it. And Gaiman making a rookie mistake there because Gaiman has to hold the brakes there and let everyone go through. And that's not what happened there. Obviously, Kirk Lane spins out on his own afterwards. But that sets Gaiman back even further. Garnet Adams has a significant advantage right now as Pressey, I believe, comes down pit lane here. He'll make the pit entry here at Fuji. Very unique pit entrance. But he will come down pit lane. Silva had to tow, but a fast repair exists for Silva to make it back into the field here again. 15 cars score points in the feature, so everyone here scoring points so long as they actually take the start. Saucier's out of this race, which means he's probably going to forfeit the sprint race. Cade McKee's not yet took a lap yet, so until McKee takes a lap, he will not score points. So Aspen Martin up to the top 5, 7 seconds between her and between Garnet Adams, as those two try to close in right now. And Aspen Martin, I think, just went wide, just went for a loop. Yes, she did. Martin goes around. This is, again, I believe, this is not in Sector 3. This is in Sector, this is coming to Sector, this is in the middle of Sector right now. That was coming out of, I believe that's turn 7. That Aspen, I think, clipped the AstroTurf and just went around. What happens to Aspen Martin here? Is it under braking? No, it is under acceleration and doesn't even get to the curb. Just too much throttle application on the X of that corner. And around that 32 car goes. So Aspen now down to 7th place. Adams in pit lane. So the 6th car makes the trip down. Vervink to move up into 4th place. But it is, again, a heavy distance between 4th place and the podium right now. Tucker Sawyer still under threat. 2.2 the gap between Sawyer and Christina Ryan. Bruno Miranda's opened up a 4.7 second gap. Christina Ryan in the 3rd position right now. Sawyer again in 2nd. Bruno Miranda, the points leader, sitting right now at the front of the field. His lap times as they run right now. We'll pull up those lap times. His best lap was his last lap. Not so much the case now. 22.7 for Miranda. Tucker Sawyer did just set his fastest lap, though. Was 2/10 quicker than Miranda this time around. Maybe trying to chip away at some things here. As Sawyer goes wide a little bit and loops it. Loops it around. Christina Ryan sidesteps. And Sawyer will have plenty of time to get looped around before any more oncoming traffic occurs. Next car down the road is Caitlin Height, who is off the lead lap. Silva still in pit lane right now, sitting in the 12th position. And I think maybe content to stay in that position, knowing that it's going to be a long road up no matter what for the sprint race coming up here in a little bit. So Christina Ryan moves up to the 2nd spot. Reminder, the top 8 are inverted for the sprint coming up later. Right now, Garnet Adams has the sprint race pole. Aston Martin. I said Aston Martin, not Aspen. Aston Martin sitting in the 9th position, just came down pit lane. It's very confusing. We have an Aston Farton team with Corey Vervink, and then we have Aspen Martin. So bear with me. Martin in and out of pit lane for her repair and service. The Scuderia Navantaset team only has one car in it, that being Martin. Jewel Wolf not present, neither is Amity Polstrix. As Martin on cold tires gets out of the way, that is Christina Ryan that Martin is letting through. So an indication of just how spaced out everything has been so far. Tucker Sawyer down now 5.5 seconds from Christina Ryan right now. Kirk Lane, this is where you get into a different zip code here. Kirk Lane down in 4th place, 30 seconds almost between Lane and the podium. I believe it's 25 seconds at the moment. Now the battle between Kirk Lane and Corey Vervink is fairly close. Fairly close fight here in this battle with provisional 4th place. Both of them have to make pit stops still. In the feature race, there's a mandatory 4-tire stop in this race. So Vervink right now running in the 5th position right now. Again, everyone in the top 6 has to make a pit stop. I believe Crivelli's not far away. There is Crivelli for Crusader Racing right now, sitting in the 6th position. Again, for some drivers, they're using their first drop round here at Fuji. Everyone gets 3. They get 3 sets of drop rounds. They get 3 drops for the feature race, 3 drops for their sprint race. For drivers to make all 10 of these rounds, then their worst results are automatically just cut out. So, for drivers to make all the 10 races, all 10 weekends, I should say, they get to essentially just have their best results count. It gives them more opportunities to score more points compared to those that use all 3 of those drops. Some drivers using their first ones here tonight. Crivelli in 5th place, got around Vervink with a very little fuss. Battle for 7th place, however, is heating up between Adams and Pressy. Again, they're trying to close the gap in and try to hopefully battle for 4th place at the end of this race, having already made their pit stop. Pressy made his out of necessity, fixing damage. Adams made a pit stop to cover off the 94, and it worked. But now Pressy hot on the attack. Trying to take on Garnet Adams here. So pull up the battle box between these two. Less than half a second between them. In PEM and Prismatic Motorsports, these two have been long staple teams in ABN competition, and they've battled to and fro pretty consistently across these last 3 years. Garnet Adams still leads the way, though, in this battle. Again, their objective is to hopefully get to about 4th place, is where they'll end up being once Crivelli, Vervingt, and Lane all come down pit lane. Kirk Lane's had himself a bit of an issue. What has happened to the 13 car for Kirk Lane? This is on board with him, and just a little bit too much curbing there in the final sector. He rolls it around, stays out of the way. Pretty cut and dry there for the 13 machine. He sits right now in 4th place, now having to gain back all that ground against Crivelli and Vervingt. Crivelli in 4th. Now has an almost 5-second gap over Vervingt, who is just right now taking care of his stuff. Pressy in 8th place again. That battle's going to be very tight, and that battle is as tight as it gets. Pressy had a really good run out of turn 1 and 2, but couldn't hold it through Coca-Cola corner. And now Pressy has gone wide. And Pressy is struggling. Was there contact between Pressy and Garnet Adams? What has happened here between these two? This is down the front straightaway into turn 1. Did they make contact? Adams goes to block. Is there contact between these two? Doesn't look like it, no. No contact between these two. Pressy had the position for a second, had to back out of it, but then threw himself completely off cycle and off focus. So now Pressy's got to gain back all that time on Garnet Adams. He's lost over a second, almost 2. And now Pressy on push to Bass. In pit lane, you heard the siren from the other side of the track. Tucker Sawyer is the driver in pit lane. 3rd place driver will come in and take his mandatory tire stop here tonight. Again, Crivelli just now coming down the front straightaway will provisionally take 3rd place away from Sawyer, but again, Crivelli needs to make a pit stop as well. And Sawyer already coming out of pit lane will only really lose 1 spot. Sawyer trying to get those tires warmed up, scrubbing them out of pit lane here. There's Kirk Lane coming down the front straightaway, and actually Sawyer's going to let him have it as he lets his tires get warmed up. So Sawyer again focusing more on getting those tires at the temperature before making an attack. A smart move by Sawyer, knowing that Crivelli and Lane are not in his battle at the moment. Sawyer will return to the podium place here in a few minutes once Crivelli and Lane make their stops. Vervingt in the 6th position right now as Christina Ryan's coming in for service and made contact with the wall. Luckily, she's got a fast repair, but that is a very clumsy mistake to make on pit lane. Christina Ryan now in trouble, trying to limp that car back. And that's a long pit lane. Very clumsy mistake for a driver that knows this track very well. A lot of races took place at this track for Christina Ryan. She'll stay in 2nd place pretty firmly. Crivelli just now goes through. But again, Crivelli needs to make a pit stop. Kirk Lane, likewise, a little bit further down. Did Christina Ryan not take a fast repair? Or she could be serving a penalty. Very likely. Very possible that it's a penalty here. Because this is a 43. Let's see if it's a 45-second stop. 46, 47. Must not have been very close. And Ryan's going to go a lap down here. That would, that throws that entire race out the window. Unforced error by Christina Ryan puts her from second place to ninth. And now we have a very interesting game of cat and mouse that she's going to have to play. Very interesting occurrence there. Bruno Miranda now leads this race firmly, and his biggest competition is now out of the way. Miranda has yet to make a pit stop, though. And Miranda will come down pit lane here. Get up down to speed safely. And he will have a very easy pit stop here. Crivelli and Lane, they made their pit stops, and they will avoid going a lap down here as Miranda comes down pit lane as well. So Miranda comes in. Christina Ryan actually gets back around Kirk Lane, so already up 2 spots for Christina Ryan. I believe that's because Corey Vervingt is out of this race. What happened to Corey Vervingt? Number 23 car out of this race. Christina Ryan now up 2 spots, though. Back up to 7th place. Kirk Lane right now in the sprint race pole. No extra points for sprint race pole, but nice start at the front of the field for the sprint race if that's how things go. Kirk Lane had a pretty good start, too, as well. Same with Tucker Sawyer. He'll start this race from the 4th row if things stand across these next 11 laps. And he is unchallenged right now. Josh Gaiman, 15 seconds adrift. Biggest challenge so far right now. Biggest battle is Nick Pressey, who's finally got around Garnet Adams. They still remain the closest battle on track. But I think Pressey's pretty well got that challenge settled. The question now is how quickly can he get to and get around Josh Gaiman, because it looks like he's got the pace to do so. Gaiman made a pit stop on lap 5. Same with Pressey. Adams on lap 6. So tire longevity-wise, they are at the exact same point. However, Sawyer is well and truly clear of this right now. And Miranda is in a completely different zip code. 25 seconds out in front. And Pressey almost lost it in the final sector. Saw the car scoot at the rear. People will be surprised. These are turbocharged inline 4s, but they produce 607, I believe 600, maybe it's not, I think it's 570 horsepower. I think I misread this. 570 horsepower for these turbocharged inline 4s, twin turbos, produced by Honda and Toyota. Same engines that are used in the GT500 cars in the Super GT Championship. Put it into comparison, these engines at their power output that they have right now could compete in the Indianapolis 500. So these inline fours can get up and go. They pack a punch. Garnet Adams coming down pit lane, coming out of pit lane now, the number 9 car. And it looks like it's because of crash damage. What has happened to Garnet Adams? This is in the final sector. We saw an issue there for pressing the same corner. What happens to Garnet Adams? Oh, and it's a really wide run around the corner. Saw a lockup beforehand. I wonder if there's a flat tire involved in that. I don't think it should, because Adams pit on lap 6. Those tires should be able to make it pretty well safely to the end of the race. I'm not sure what happened with Garnet Adams, but coming down for fresh tires nonetheless in this race. And again, if Adams can't make those tires go 14 laps, it spells disaster for the Prismatic Motorsports driver in the sprint, which is 14 laps exactly. All right, Adams in 9th place. Needs to find one more spot to get back into the top 8. And confirming that Corey Vervink's DNF is a technical failure. And to kind of sum things up, a sim crash and then a blue screen of death is what Vervink suffered from to take him out of the race. So that's a rough one. So for Vervink, who was sitting really well right now on his debut, on a limited time schedule, he'll still score points, 11th place points, but not where he wanted to be after being as high as 7th place here tonight. Garnet Adams again sitting in 9th place, has to somehow find a way to find 16 seconds to Aspen Martin. Martin sits in the sprint race pole position at the moment, 8th place right now in the feature. Again, sprint race pole does not award points, feature race does. Vernon Miranda stormed to that one. And right now, Miranda has both bonus points in the feature for both the pole position and fastest lap in this race, as things currently run. So Aston Martin in 8th place will kind of run throughout the field. Not a huge battle going on here. The biggest battle would be between between Crivelli and Ryan in this battle for the top 5. Christina Ryan recovering from her incident on pit lane, trying to get back to the top 5 again, ruining what was going to be an excellent point haul. 20 points available for 2nd place in this feature. And now Christina Ryan scoring 5th place points, which is nowhere close to what she was hoping and had in mind. 5th place points awards only 11 points, so a drop in 9 points if she can get around Crivelli. And that's not easy. Crivelli's a quick driver. So Crivelli's going to try to keep Christina Ryan at bay for the next 7 laps. Bruno Miranda keeps setting the purple lap times there, 1:21.822. Phenomenal lap times by the Himco Solinger Esports driver. Heard there's a vacancy in one of the Himco Solinger racing team cars in 2024. Miranda's been absolutely stomping everyone here. Give him a shot. We'll vote for it. Crivelli with a little bit of a loop, almost, in the final sector. And he had to sacrifice a lot of time, gave up almost half of his gap here. And now both of them on push to pass. You see the flashing LEDs at the top of the roll bar. They're all on push to pass right now. Crivelli off push to pass. Christina Ryan off push to pass as well. You saw the blinking slow down. When the blinking is a slow blink, that means they're charging. They're refreshing that push to pass. Once it goes red, that means they have less than 20 seconds. But they still have plenty of push to pass right now to get to the rest of the race. So they're probably going to wait and give it a last lap go. But they've been on push to pass here just a little bit. Pressy in 4th place at the moment. Pretty well cut and dry. 7.5 seconds ahead. Christina Ryan, again, just trying to play damage limitation here. Going to lose a lot of points to Bruno Miranda. Was trying to lose only 5 or 7 points, but will lose almost 20. Christina Ryan, again, sitting in 6th position at the moment. Closest battle on track. Miranda's still the fastest car on track as things currently run. As we keep an eye on everything as things run right now. There is, again, a close of the gap. Late of the late breakers for Christina Ryan. Sending pretty deep in turn 1. And Crivelli's got to be looking in his rearview mirror right now. Crivelli, a champion in his own right, won the LMGT Championship in the International Sports Car Championship. Won the World Championship as an AM driver. So, he's got an accolade to his credit right now. Pair of world champions, one in the sports car scene, one in the open wheel scene, duking it out here across these last 5 laps. Miranda, once again, best lap in the race, a 121.62. He is getting consistent with those 121.6s. His last best was a 121.622. If we pull out best lap times right now, which are not going to be pretty, it's a 121.621. He gained a thousandth on it. A millisecond for Miranda. He is millimeter perfect. As Crivelli and Ryan duke it out even more still. Miranda coming to 4 laps to go. And that's where Miranda is right now. The Brazilian driver for Hyundai Salinger Esports doing a phenomenal job. What does this lap time look like for Miranda? 121.7. Close. Keeping it within a tenth, though. Consistency is one of his finest attributes here in the Hyper Formula Championship. Christina Ryan has gotten around Crivelli. Crivelli spun. Crivelli spun. That is out of, I believe, turn 7. And Crivelli still trying to get this thing pointing in the right direction. And now there's traffic in the way. There goes Kirk Lane for 6th. And Crivelli will let go of the top 5 finishing spot in the late stages here, and now will be under threat of going a lap down by this man, Bruno Miranda. And Miranda, you can tell he's still pushing. Smoked the tires there into the chicane. That does that battle for 5th. Christina Ryan, damage limitation for her. Will take that 5th spot. And will take it pretty easily on the go. Bruno Miranda, race leader, takes 3 laps to go here in Fuji. Tucker Sawyer in the 2nd position. 31 seconds adrift, but still over 11 seconds clear of Josh Gaiman. As things currently stand, second and third seem pretty well undisputable as things stand. Pressy has to make sure he keeps things pointing in the right direction because Christina Ryan is not far away. The former world champion up to the top 5 would love to get 4th place, even if there's not a lot of time left to do it. 5.7 seconds is the gap. Christina charging her push to pass once more. Nick Pressy's on push to pass right now. Pressy knows it's time to go. And there is Christina Ryan in 5th place, trying to chase him down. Closer battle happening, maybe with 3 laps to go, is Caitlin Height trying to close in on Garnet Adams for the 9th position. That's what they are currently trying to do right now. They are battling for 7 points on the road, and there's Garnet Adams in your screen. Caitlin Height is on a charge. Both these cars a lap down to the race leader, but all of them still in the fight. Three cars out of this race. Vervink, Saucier, and McKee. Silva will be starting this race effectively from 11th place in the sprint race grid. 2 laps to go for Bruno Miranda. On push to pass is Caitlin Height, and this battle now opening up for 9th place. Closest battle on the road right now. We'll keep you updated as anything changes in the front of the field. Garnet Adams early on the brakes. Caitlin Height late on the brakes. Almost a collision there with 2 laps to go. Caitlin Height on the charge once again, still on push to pass. Looks to the outside, entering the chicane. And will get clear for 9th place. On the outside, entering the chicane. Move Caitlin Height up to 9th place. A rough go there for Caitlin Height. Bruno Miranda gained 0.3 of a second on his fastest lap of 121.29. So 0.3 improved there by Miranda. Going for style points right now is Katie Height, using up all of her push to pass to not only take 9th place, but pull away on the final lap. Josh Gaiman. Josh Gaiman had to come down pit lane. What did he have to come down pit lane for? He's in danger of losing losing the podium. He will lose the podium here. What has happened to Josh Gaiman? Bruno Miranda comes out of the final corner. He's going to win the feature pretty handily. But we've had a huge upset in the podium places. Pressy moves up to 3rd. Checkered flag in the air. Miranda wins. But this race isn't over. Was it a drive-through? Potentially. 16 incident points is the limit here. If you get 16 off tracks, that would count. And Pressy already had... Actually, Gaiman would have already had a 4X. And that lap 1 contact. So yeah, it could be a drive-through. And that's going to be unfortunate for for Josh Gaiman, who goes from 3rd to 5th. Pressy, the biggest benefactor of that, will move to 3rd. Tucker Sawyer finished 2nd. But this ended up being an actually somewhat close battle. Christina Ryan was closing in, just needed a few more laps to make it happen. And Pressy actually scrubbed the tires there in the penultimate corner. So Josh Gaiman had to serve a drive-through penalty. It gives Nick Pressy podium. Christina Ryan finishes 4th. ahead of Josh Gaiman, who will finish now a disappointing 5th place after having to serve a drive-through for incident points on the final lap. That is heartbreaking for Josh Gaiman, who will start this race, the sprint race, from 4th position. Kirk Lane, 6th in the feature, will start 3rd in the sprint. Alrighty, wild stuff here. Get rid of the track map there. Feature race done and dusted. A wild turn of events. Drivers have 10 minutes here, I believe, in warm-up. Making sure that is correct. It is correct. So, 10 minutes warm-up here. We'll see if we can update the point standings as they currently run right now. All right, so here's everything as they ran. Obviously, we'll show the results first with how this race turned up here tonight. Feature race ended up being in the hands of Bernard Miranda, and healthily so. Scored 25 points for finishing first. And the bonus points for pole position and fastest lap in that race as well. So 27 points total for him. We'll talk about points in a second here. Tucker Sawyer finished 2nd place. Podium for him, 20 points on his behalf. Nick Pressey finished in 3rd ahead of Christina Ryan, who gains 13 points. Josh Gaiman gains 11 after having to serve a drive-through. Kirk Lane in 6th place. Bobby Crivelli in 7th. Aspen Martin will start the sprint race from pole position, finishing 8th place in the feature. Caitlin Height, 9th place. Saw that last lap pass around the outside in this very corner in the background on Garnet Adams. Adams finishing in 10th. Corey Verfink failed to finish, but will take points for 11th place. That is 5 points for him. Silva, Saucier, McKee. McKee did not start the race, so McKee will end up not scoring points. But Saucier just did not get to complete a lap here in Fuji. Championship points as they run, a little bit different. Bern Miranda at the top of the board, 87 points to his name. A really good run so far for the Himco Solinger Esports driver. Christina Ryan stays 2nd place and opens that gap over her teammate in the position there. As that went away by accident. Whoops. Josh Gaiman in 3rd place stays that way. Tucker Sawyer, however, gains a huge gap. Or the gap now shrunk, excuse me, between Gaiman and Tucker Sawyer. Tucker now 3 points the gap. He's opened up a decent gap. 10 points to Caitlin Height. Caitlin Height finished this race again in 9th place. Joel Wolf will drop spots after not taking part in tonight's race. Again, drop rounds will kind of come into effect later in this season, once we know what races and what rounds drivers are dropping. But right now, as it stands right now, Joel Wolf will drop down to 6th place after the feature race. Bruce Silva will stay in 7th place. Aspen Martin in 8th. Nick Pressey 9th. Kirk Lane, the top 10 in the point standings as they run. That is the point standings currently as they run. Again, it's about 6 minutes and change until they get ready to grid up for the sprint race here. Yeah, not a lot of cars on track right now. You'll be looking mostly just Aspen Martin for Scuderia Novantasep getting on track here. Looks like Josh Gaiman will be leaving pit lane as well. Actually, I think he may be just practicing the starts for this race. The sprint race starts are going to be so critical. We saw how important starts were and how mired everything behind Berna Miranda in the feature. Going to be even more important now that you've got the top 8 inverted. Tucker Sawyer had a magic restart last time through. We'll need to do it again, starting from row 4. Christina Ryan. Again, miss out on the podium there, just barely. Few less cars in this sprint race grid coming up. No Cade McKee, no Bryce Saucier, and no Corey Vervinkt. If everything is as they were at the end of the feature. And Christina's going to loop it on colder tires. Keeps it out of the wall, though. And Sector 3, a very difficult sector. See if Christina decides to go for a lap or not. See if we can go on board and show everyone what a lap around Fuji is actually like. And Christina's actually going to just follow all of the access roads here. Let's go on board for a lap around for Christina Ryan. This is 3 turn 1 right now. Through Coca-Cola corner. A little wide there for Christina Ryan. Still trying to find some pace. Using as much of the tarmac as possible here. The first sprint race was won by Christina Ryan back in Shizuoka. Looking to do the same thing here. We'll have to start this race from 5th place on the grid. And she had a very poor initial start. Grid starts here, making things complicated for some. We're talking about these turbocharged inline 4s. They're not just single turbo, they're twin turbos. So the turbo lag can be insane. It's very much a multiple phase initial start. You have the first phase, the initial start was just the launch. And then you have to deal with the windup of the torque and that turbo power. As Christina Ryan just slows down to, I believe, get ready to practice the standing start here. She'll go ahead and put a lap time on the board, but it's not indicative. We saw her slow down. I believe she is actually going to try a standing start here. We'll ride on board with it because we've not seen someone actually try to practice it. Looks like she is going to try to... She's trying to find her actual grid spot is what she's trying to do. So, very interesting for Christina Ryan. And not filling up the grid box. Could pull up a lot. Practicing the start. Wheel spin there as the turbo gets up the torque. You see a lot of drivers practicing exiting pit lane as well. Again, everyone's trying to practice these standing starts. Everyone's got to get them up to temperature because next week we go to Road America. It's going to be a wild time going to Road America here. Again, next race is on the calendar. It's Road America next week. And I believe it's the Charlotte Roval after that, which I'll be racing in. We won't be broadcasting Charlotte. That's November 9th. I'll be racing in it. Hockenheim on November 16th. Interlagos on November 30th. Motorland Aragon on December 7th. The second round in Suzuka on December 14th. And then the finale at Twin Ring Motegi on December 21st. That is essentially the upcoming calendar in its full entirety there. So a couple of American races, a European race, a Brazilian race. Actually, a couple of European races right there, I guess. And then we rounded off with 2 more races in Japan. So, time for some fly-around races in the Hyper Formula Championship. And the information on the next season calendar, the Season 3 calendar, will be coming up here at the beginning of November. So, keep an eye out on that. ABNesports.com will be where that's located when it comes out. All right, time to talk about the starting grid for the sprint race here tonight. Aston Martin at the front of the field. Sprint race pole ahead of Bobby Crivelli. Kirk Lane and Josh Gaiman make up row 2. Christina Ryan and Nick Pressey make up the row 3. Tucker Sawyer lines up alongside the championship leader and the feature race winner, Bruno Miranda, who starts on the outside of row 4. Row 5 is Caitlin Height and Garnet Adams. Row 6 is Ray Fly and Bruce Silva. Unfortunately, we will not see Corey Vervaint, Bryce Saucier, or Cade McKee on tonight's grid for the sprint. Lights getting ready to come on, so away we go. 14 laps for the sprint race. And it's green, green, green. Away we go. And already trouble Aston Martin spins it on the initial start. Everyone else, though, gets around cleanly. Pressey leads, and someone just hopped the infield grass. That was Adams that missed it. And trouble, Miranda, Kirk Lane. Who else was involved in that? Other than Aston Martin, I believe, might have had a piece of it as well, or try to get through it. But Miranda, once again on the sprint race, will not have any fortune. Is there trouble? Caitlin Height in huge trouble, missing the entire rear of that car. Caitlin Height missing the entire rear wing. Trying to tiptoe around. We'll look back at the start here in a second. Christina Ryan, however, has taken the lead of the sprint. And is going to be, once again, like as it was in Suzuka, it will be a fight between teammates here as things currently stand here in Fuji. Already on push to pass is Christina Ryan. Gaiman not on push to pass, trying to stay in the slipstream as the two teammates begin to duke it out. Sawyer in third. Gaiman swerves to the outside lane. Christina stays to the inside as they stay on push to pass. Gaiman runs wide. Christina holds on to the position, though, as they leave towards Coca-Cola Corner. Cars in pit lane. Crivelli, Height in lane. As well as Bruno Miranda, who is still in pit lane. We're going to give it a chance so we can look back at this initial start. Aston Martin already out of this race. And this is going to be what happens. This is well after what happened in turn 1. Let's get a wide out angle here. So this is everyone getting into turn 1. And this was more calamity and chaos than we saw in the feature. Everyone sees Garnet Adams completely blow the corner. So the leaders all avoid. And Miranda ends up looping it, going offline here. Direct head-on shot there. That is the 21 of Crivelli involved. Kirk Lane gets tapped in that melee. Caitlin Height loses her rear wing in that chaos. I don't know who got her. I believe it was Tucker Sawyer that got her there. See the 19 of Sawyer. So that's what happened there. What happens here? This car's going off track here, and then Caitlin Height goes around after not having a rear wing. But that really kind of all spurns on when Garnet Adams goes off track, having completely blown the first corner. And Garnet Adams, obviously, not Garnet Adams, Aspen Martin did not get to even make turn 1. That just a really late lunge by Garnet Adams there. Going into the corner. And you see the melee that ensues because of it. As things run, though, right now. Positions as they run Christina Ryan at the front of the field over Josh Gaiman. However, it is a very close battle right now as Pressy goes wide. Silva got spooked by it, and Adams goes through. So Adams makes her way back up to 4th place over Bruce Silva, Nick Pressy in the 6th position. And then you have Caitlin Height in 7th place. Katie Height still on the lead lap and in the points, sitting in 7th place. But a lot of rundown to try to make up time here to Nick Pressy. Obviously, Pressy made a mistake there, so Height will gain a little bit of time. But Christina Ryan leads the way. Garnet Adams, who we just pivoted to, as Adams and Silva continue their fight. Christina Ryan leads the way by about a second over Josh Gaiman. The teammates have settled down at the front. Tucker Sawyer, the highest privateer right now, sits 5 seconds adrift of this battle on our screens. Playing this battle up right now, it's Adams and Silva. It's pandemonium right now. Katie Height, fast lap of the race, 123.38. Bruno Miranda on track as well, hoping that a couple of cars have issues and retire from this 14-lap event. Right now, Miranda sits outside the points. So that changes some things. Keep an eye on the situation here as again we keep an eye on this battle for the 4th position. Josh Gaiman has likewise begun climbing in on that gap to his teammate. Gaiman not on push to pass, neither is Christina Ryan. Both of them, the solid lights at the top of the roll bar means that they have push to pass ready to go, but not active. Tucker Sawyer there you see in 3rd place. And that initial start on the sprint race here will be on review. Josh Gaiman has right now the provisional fastest lap of the race of 122.69. We'll see if Bruno Miranda can scavenge a point and take that fastest lap point away and score something in this sprint race. Gaiman another fastest lap, 122.696. Is where you'll find Josh Gaiman's lap time right now. 122.841 for Sawyer, 0.2 shy of the current fastest driver on track. Gaiman following again Christina Ryan here as they go 1-2 around. Here in Sector 2, Crivelli, 123.470, 123.906 for Pressy. Again, this battle, again, heating up here for the 4th spot between Silva and Adams. Silva's taken the spot away. Adams wants it back. And Pressy's had even more issues, it looks like. That gap between Pressy and between Pressy and Heights now less than 20 seconds. So Pressy struggling a little bit more and more. Adams, I think, might be losing touch with Silva just a hair. Silva just trying to set sail and let it rip. And so far it will be the case, especially when Adams almost loses it in the final sector. And that will put a a lid on that battle. And that battle for 4th place has been skewered. Christina Ryan just at the fast lap of the race, a 122.47 for the race leader. This is deja vu from Shizuoka all over again. This time, Christina Ryan, fastest on the track at the moment. Miranda took the fastest lap in the sprint race at Shizuoka. So it's a little bit different. Miranda just took the fast lap point away, 122.29 for the Brazilian driver. Right now, currently sitting in 10th place. Trying to gain a spot. He is battling to try to get in within range of Bruno Miranda. Not Bruno Miranda, Robert Crivelli, Bobby Crivelli. Push to pass charging for Christina Ryan here. We've crossed the halfway point, lap 8 underway. Josh Gaiman took fastest lap, a 122.12 for Josh Gaiman. Going around on track now, Christina Ryan stays in the race lead, but the pressure is building in this battle for the front positions. Again, lead battle between teammates once again as it was in Shizuoka. Ryan again trying to play defensive down the long front straightaway here at Fuji. They've pulled away from Tucker Sawyer. 8 seconds the gap between leader and 3rd place. Personal best by Miranda was not the race best last time around, as Crivelli's had an issue. Crivelli's had a problem in areas right in front of Nick Pressey. Pressey in 6th place on the lead lap, trying to get around Crivelli there. Crivelli just trying to hold on to the 9th position. No points for 9th place, but more of a pride, I think, logistical thing for Crivelli. But he had a little bit of an issue. He now loses his track position to Nick Pressey. Again, battle up front remains between Ryan and Gaiman. Tucker Sawyer in 3rd, Bruce Silva in 4th. Miranda just took fast lap 121.92, excuse me. Got into the 121s there. So Miranda going to try to make that fast lap point out of reach. Ryan holds on to the points, to the race lead, I should say. Stays 2nd in the points right now. Even if Gaiman finishes ahead of her right now, Ryan would stay in 2nd place. But you want to talk about removing a deficit. Miranda right now would score exactly 1 point. Christina Ryan finished in the 4th position, which was 13 points. Miranda scored 27, so it's a 14-point drop there. As things stand, Christina Ryan would gain back 11 of those points. Talk about minimizing a deficit. That'd be a huge ordeal if she can hold on to it. But Josh Gaiman also needs to think about those points, because right now he's seeing a championship fight potentially slip out of his fingers a little bit here. Because not only has Bruno Miranda had Josh Gaiman's number, his teammate in the sprint races has number 2. only thing upping Miranda right now is the fact that he was nearly flawless at Oyama last week. And he's going to have to rely on that a little bit tonight to keep that points advantage as things currently run. And again, had it not been for a lapse in concentration by Christina Ryan entering pit lane, she'd have finished second, and she'd be gaining points on that championship battle right now. That's how critical that was. It was a vital mistake in that feature race. But Christina Ryan doing everything that she can now to just negate that at the moment. Set her fast lap of the race, 3/10 faster than Josh Gaiman. Only driver faster right now is Bruno Miranda, who remains in 10th place with just a single point for that fastest lap as things run. 4 laps to go in this sprint race. And again, a phenomenal drive by Christina Ryan so far. She got to hold it together. No pit stop needed in this sprint race either. Some drivers obviously took pit stops to fix damage, but Christina Ryan having a pretty easy and straightforward go of it. Three laps to go, and Josh Gaiman again a second away from his teammate. They've been pretty well matched here in this race so far. Only so much that can be done in this case for Josh Gaiman. It's all about damage limitation right now. This battle the closest on track at the moment. Everyone else pretty well in a time trial battle at the moment, trying to set the fastest lap of the race. You could hear them bouncing off the rev limiter down that long front straightaway on that push to pass. Christina Ryan on it, 2 laps to go. I want to talk about how important this is, but also how little I remember about our point system. There's 9 points paying spots in the sprint race. Crivelli's in that last spot right now. So Crivelli in the last points paying position in the sprint race. He has 4 seconds to himself and Bruno Miranda. And if you think that's enough, it's not. Miranda is just that quick. 2 seconds a lap quicker than Crivelli right now based on last lap averages. So that's going to be a battle to keep an eye on as we keep an eye on this battle for the lead as well. Christina Ryan responding to Josh Gaiman as Gaiman tries to give pursuit once more, coming to the white flag lap. One lap to go, 2.84 miles at the line for Christina Ryan for another sprint race win. She's got to hold off her teammate to do it. Both of them on push to pass. The lights flashing, indicating push to pass is engaged. And for Christina Ryan, it's a way to negate the mistake in the feature once again. Deja vu from 2 weeks ago. Gaiman went wide in turn 4. He's going to have one more really good opportunity here after this corner, and that's going into the chicane in the third sector. He is too far back, though, I think. He's going to try with all his might. Both of them still on push to pass. Who starts blinking red, and when do they start blinking red? That is a very interesting question. Going up the hill now. No blinking red just yet. Very critical as Carmen goes around. He was closing in. He's gone around. And that'll do the lead battle in. Christina Ryan, for the second time this season, will win the sprint race. She takes the Fuji sprint and negates that deficit to 2 points. And you want to talk about close. Bobby Crivelli is looking at the championship leader, trying to take away a point-scoring position from him on the final lap. Top three have finished. Sawyer third. Silva will be fourth. And Crivelli will try to hold off and successfully do so against one of the best drivers in ABN, period. Crivelli will hold on for 9th place, the last points paying position. Well done by Crivelli. He'll finish this race in the 9th position. And Miranda for his efforts. Will set the fast lap in even more. 121.69. It looks like a little bit of a swerve of frustration from Miranda. Didn't make contact there with Crivelli, but definitely was trying to signal something to the 21 car. Whatever it was. But Christina Ryan, once again, a sprint race win. We'll hear from our podium finishers here in just a moment. Christina Ryan wins over Josh Gaiman and Tucker Sawyer, rounding out the podium places. Very deja vu. I believe that's how the Shizuoka sprint finished. I'll have to double check that. I believe this is exactly how the Shizuoka sprint finished. So they are nothing if not consistent. Yeah, exactly how the sprint race finished. To Ryan, Gaiman, and Sawyer on the podium. Once more is how that ends up being. Wild stuff there. As they fly a little bit in formation there. Behind Christina Ryan, the podium, the race winner here in the sprint. Not sure what happened there. With, I believe that's Caitlin Height. Everyone tuning in, we will be seeing podium interviews here in just a moment. And they will park on the podium places here. Podium interviews again coming up here in this sprint. A phenomenal drive by Christina Ryan negates the points deficit. We'll talk about the points situation as they end up running here. Christina Ryan's going to burn it down for her troubles here. We're going backwards on pit lane there. See, they're going to park underneath the actual podium here. So a little bit of theatrics here for the podium celebrations here tonight. So looking at the championship as things run right now, Miranda stays in the points lead, but it's by 20 instead of what it could have been had Miranda not been taken out in that lap 1 crash in the sprint. Instead, Miranda scored 1 point. Christina Ryan scored the full 12 in the sprint here this evening. Christina Ryan stays second place and opens up a 10-point gap over her teammate Josh Gaiman. Tucker Sawyer stays in third place and solidifies a fourth place position right now in the championship standings over Caitlin Height, who stays top 5. Bruce Silva gets ahead of Jewel Wolf. Nick Pressey gets ahead of Aspen Martin, who wrecked out on the opening lap. Kirk Lane finished in 10th place. Garnet Adams scoring enough points to take 11th of 25. Pelletier Sharp was not present tonight, taking a drop round. Crivelli scored just enough points to stay in 13th place and open up a little bit of a gap to Lee James, his teammate there for Crusader Racing. Corey Vervaints, 5 points for him tonight, and none of those were in the feature race. Saucier with 4. Cade McKee will end up scoring no points after not actually taking the start here in Fuji. And then Selena Thompson, Frankie Franchicha, and Chi Cuba scoring 0 points. They'll be at the bottom of the standings here after 6 races, 3 rounds in the High Performance Championship. Again, it's all about how the sprint race turned out here. Christina Ryan, top of the board in the sprint race once again. We'll hear from her here in just a second. How she turned, once again, a blunder into a recovery drive of the ages, like only she can. Christina, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
What's up, baby?
You making things more stressful than they need to be, from a potential podium in the feature race to 4th place there, a recovery drive of the ages in that feature race, to once again, deja vu from Shizuoka, to getting a sprint race win here, this time in Fuji. Walk us through it. Obviously, walk us through in detail for some drivers that missed. Obviously, you were in the chat during the intermission, but walk us through sort of what happened there in the feature race, and obviously how you're able to once again keep your teammate at bay for 14 laps here tonight in the sprint.
Yeah, I mean, I got too comfortable in the first race. I saw, I think it was Crivelli was who I was racing. It was Sawyer pit. I just wanted to cover him off because I had a gap and I had a decent lap, but I let my mind wander too much. And as I was coming in, I was not thinking about how slick it'd be on the way in, and the car was a lot lighter, so it was a bit different from how I had been coming in previously to the pit lane, and I just completely screwed it up. So embarrassing for sure. Was lucky that that's probably the first time in ABN I've actually been bailed out and have actually decided to take a fast repair. I usually don't take them, even if I have minor damage, but that one was embarrassing. So, but the mountain giveth and the mountain taketh away, I suppose. But yeah, no, I'm really proud of how I handled it. I was obviously frustrated at myself a little bit, but that was probably the best I've handled something like that in a very long time. I just dipped out of the voice chat I was in so I could focus better, turned off all my distractions, and put my head down, raced back to a good finishing position, got a little bit lucky to get higher than we probably were, like a 6th place car, but some drivers made mistakes around us. And yeah, kept it clean, turned on the Intimidator on a few cars, and got back up into a decent position. The start was just, for the sprint, I have no idea. I'm pretty sure I bounced off of like 3 people. Josh spun the tires on the start and came out in front of me, and I'm pretty sure I put Tucker in the grass, and then I don't know who it was, but I was fading over to the right-hand side, and the spotter didn't call it. So I doinked somebody going into T1, but we figured that out. And then they all wrecked into T1, and I think it was Pressey that was beside me, and he didn't know. I didn't know he was to my left, and I don't think he knew I was to his right, and we clipped each other going in there. And from there, it was just making sure I didn't have too much floor damage. Spotter said I was okay, and yeah, then it was just a battle with Josh, trying to dump all the dirty air I could and hope that he would overcook the rears, especially through Sector 3. I know a lot of people hate Sector 3, but I was talking about it before. A lot of people hate Sector 3, but never figure it out. Josh figured it out, but he was cooking all this stuff, trying to get back to me and get the exit. So we just were that a little bit better. And you know, if I gotta if I gotta either get net coated or completely throw away a podium to win sprints, I'll take it, because these sprint wins are really fun.
Obviously, it leaves us, we leave Japan for a period of time. We head to Road America next week, another track that I think a lot of drivers find a lot of fun. How are you feeling going into that race?
Yeah, I think I'll be there. I have an opportunity popping up maybe, and I know you do too, so I don't know what the date is, but I hope I get to make it for this, because that'll be a really fun one. I think I went into the season not expecting to win anything, and the fact that we've been fighting for podiums every week in the feature, and we've won 2 out of 3 sprint races, doing a lot better than I thought we would coming into this. So I honestly just go have fun with it. Race the hell out of everybody like we have been. It's been super fun. The way that the Hyper Formula landscape has shifted since we changed to these cars has been phenomenal. I mean, there's battles all up and down the field, and it's a lot more in the hands of the driver than it is on whoever builds the sets. I really enjoy it. These cars are amazing, and these tracks are phenomenal. So I'm in my element right now. I'm having an incredible time.
Well, Chris, you did a phenomenal job. Once again, a sprint race win to negate anything that happened in the feature, with Road America coming up, and then Charlotte after that. A couple of fun weeks coming up here in the Hyper Formula Championship. Before we let you go, though, if there's anyone you want to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours.
Big shout out to Josh and James, everybody at Stepping Stone. It's great we're able to put on another one too. Poor James, he's gonna have to take out a loan, but I don't know. I feel like Kimi Räikkönen coming in here scoring as high as I do now, but no, big shout out to them. Shout out to all the dolls at the shop who were with us the last month or so. It's nice to get some peace and quiet again, but miss you. Saw everybody kind of cheer me on. Big shout out to Spirit. Very jealous because he may get to be around here in real life. So I wish he could take me with him. I'll fit in the luggage. Spirit, if you're watching, I can just cut an air hole. We'll be okay. But yeah, no, shout out there. Hey was in chat too. I see James in chat, everybody there. I was on and off of listening to the stream because I really needed to focus, but yeah, super, super fun. And other than that, of course, thanks to you for putting it on. And other than that, mina arigato. Ganbare.
That was Christina Ryan, race winner here in the sprint once again. A phenomenal drive by the Stepping Stone Motorsports driver. A race win after finishing 4th place in the feature night, again 2nd place in the point standings as things run. Next up, we'll talk to Josh Gaiman. 2nd place tonight here for Stepping Stone Motorsports, another 1-2, and once again, deja vu to Suzuka 2 weeks ago. Josh, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Carmen.
Alrighty. Once again, very, very reminiscent of how Suzuka turned out for you. 2nd place once again in the sprint after being taken out by no fault of your own in the feature, having to use the sprint as a recovery drive. Walk us through it on your end. Obviously, I think a lot of drivers expressing in the chat how driver mistakes have been pretty repetitive so far this season, but walk us through it on your end.
Yeah, I mean, the feature just, was that craziness that, I mean, even the real life series gets at Fuji. Is just everyone diving into turn 1 at 170 miles an hour, and usually there's 1-4 wide that doesn't work, and I just happened to be the one that was on the outside of it, and I got the short end of the stick, but I think somebody else in that got hit, like, head on. I got out of there before everything really got worse, so, yeah, and then, like, I had a second incident where it's just people checked up in front of me, and I tried to sweep out to the curb and just, misjudged the gap, really, the closing rate. And I had something else happen. I think it was a little touch with Garnet at one point, and by lap 4, I was at, like, 12x, so, it's just one of those days. Sprint race was fun, definitely, but just, something with the way the car was driving just wasn't really meshing with me 2 laps in, and I was driving the car sideways all the way around the track, and just ran out of tire by the end.
Obviously, a very difficult track here is what we see at Fuji Speedway. We go to Road America next week for you, and again, a little bit more familiar, a little bit more, I think, more straightforward of a track. What are you looking forward to as far as going back to the U.S. and taking this car to one of the American tracks?
Yeah, that'll definitely be exciting. I'm looking forward to the Roval. I won't lie, that's just a riot in any car
One of us.
put on it.
One of us. One of us.
It's such a blast. Road America's Road America. I don't know anybody that really dislikes that track just because it's so fast. I mean, it's essentially the most. It's called Road America. It's the most American road course you can think of because it's got a bunch of half-mile long straightaways on it, connected with some easy turns, pretty much. And it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks of racing. There's some cool tracks further down the schedule that I'm really excited for. But yeah.
Well, you did a phenomenal job here. Again, recovery drive, second place finish in the sprint, finishing fifth in the feature, with Road America coming up and a lot of racing in between. I think you got trucks. I'm not sure if you're racing trucks on Saturday or not, but I know you're racing Cup because you're bound to get some bonus points. I don't think you get bonus points now. You've already won, but you've got a championship coming up here in a couple of weeks in the RCA's for Cup Series, HCL Cup Series on Monday. You have a lot of stuff going on in your sim racing life right now. But before I let you go and get ready for all that stuff this weekend, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again on another podium here, this time in Fuji.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Chrissy. Every time we've gotten into a complete brawl on the track, it's been really clean and really fun. I just gotta get on the other side of the car next time, and be in front. Everyone at Stepping Stone for, busting their butts and working hard, and putting in the laps and trying to improve every week. You for putting on these broadcasts and the series and everything. This car is an absolute riot, so I'm really glad we're using it. Shout out to 213 Simware, McConey Setup Shop, W Energy for riding along. I know we don't have them on this car just yet, but we're working on it. And we got a real busy painter, so we'll get it figured out here soon.
All right, well, Josh Gaiman, again, you have a lot of stuff on your plate coming up here very shortly, but we'll let you get back to it. But again, congrats, second place here at Fuji, with a lot more racing coming up this weekend. Enjoy it, Josh.
Thank you.
That was Josh Gaiman, the second place finisher here tonight. We'll talk to Tucker Sawyer, third place finish as well in this sprint race. Third place in both races, I believe. No, second place in the second place in the feature, third place in the sprint. So double podium for Tucker Sawyer tonight. Tucker, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy? Tucker, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy? Give him a second to see if his mic is ready to go there. It looks like we hear him now. Tucker, are you there?
Yeah, copy. I'm here.
Alrighty. A very interesting race for you. A very good points haul for you tonight. Double podium finish. You finished second in the feature, third in the sprint. Walk us through it on your end, because you got to survive all the chaos in that sprint race, but that feature race looked pretty straightforward for you tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I survived all the chaos in the sprint or the feature. I don't know, the short race. I don't know which one it was,
Sprint.
but I wouldn't say I survived all of it because I had a little bit of contact with someone. I don't know who it was, so my steering was bent the entire race. So I was battling that, but just overall, I was trying to be consistent. Not make any mistakes, which I didn't really make any mistakes, just went off the track a lot. But overall, it was pretty good. And then in the longer race, my start was pretty good and just held off. I held second place for most of the race, and then I spun out. And then I don't know who got by me. I don't remember. But they got by me, and then I pitted early, and then I overcut them on the pit stop, so it came out in second and then stayed there the entire race. So I'd say it was pretty good, yeah.
Obviously for you, you've been very quietly efficient and effective again. A double podium race weekend here in Fuji. Road America's coming up next, so we start getting into some of the more international tracks. We go to the U.S., we go to Europe, we go to South America. Some of these tracks coming up, your Road America. Do you feel confident being able to carry this momentum? You're fourth place in the standings, just 5 points off of Josh Gaiman. Do you think you have the ability to sort of really start closing in and getting into the podium places in that championship standing order?
I feel like I could, most likely, coming into Road America, because it's usually one of my stronger tracks, and I just love that track. Everything about it's just so awesome. Like, but yeah, I'm just gonna try to keep moving forward and for the rest of the season, and keep practicing, just hit my marks, keep going, you know.
Well, you did a phenomenal job here tonight. Again, a double podium finish, second in the feature, third in the sprint. Leaves you fourth in points with 53 points and a good gap going into Road America next week, though. Before I let you go, does anyone want to shout out and say thank you to Tucker? The floor is yours. You did a phenomenal job tonight. A double podium. The only driver in the top 3 to do so tonight. So if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours.
I'd just like to say thanks to everyone at ABN Esports for putting on this awesome race and the live stream broadcast. And I'd like to thank my mom and dad for supporting me through my sim racing career journey, I guess. And Fanatec for making this awesome Formula Rim and Track Racer for the sim rig. And then Major's Garage for providing some great setups for me to use. And yep, that's about it.
Alrighty, Tucker. Well, again, enjoy the double podium here tonight. Road America next week. We'll see if you can get on podium once again in Wisconsin. Tucker, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you next week.
Yep, thank you.
That was Tucker Sawyer, the double podium finisher here tonight. Fourth place in points. You see him second place in the feature race, behind just that of Bruno Miranda. But then, third place in the sprint. Fantastic job there by Tucker Sawyer here tonight. A phenomenal job all around the board. Crazy and chaos defines Fuji, and it was no different here tonight. Again, next week's race, they head to Road America, the race of Wisconsin in Elkhart Lake. A lot of races between now and next Thursday, though. Saturday night, it's the playoffs beginning for the ARC Saturday Night Showdown competition. Truck Series Racing and the final 4 races for ARCs in Season 6. All of that kicks off 9:45 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. Sunday, 7 p.m., it is the ARCs A-Squared Cup Series from Martinsville. Final round in the round of 8, penultimate race in the season. Who joins in the fight for the championship as they head into Phoenix next week? We find out on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. The HL Cup Series goes live from Talladega, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on ABN Esports 1. ABN Esports 2 hosts the HL Truck Series on Tuesday as they head to Homestead Miami Speedway. A lot of racing coming up here over the next 5 days, and then we'll be back here next Thursday for the ABN High Performance Championship from Road America. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Esports, all of our partners, Admin Box, 83 Flying Machines, and everyone a part of ABN Studios, I'm Carmen Sienna. We appreciate everyone spending your time with us here this week. A lot of stuff coming up this weekend, but until next time, we're going to wish you a very healthy and safe rest of your week. Until next time, we'll see you on Saturday. So long, everybody.